Good morning, comic book fans. This is Jeremy, and
My name is Stuart.
this is a comic book education. It is our podcast that we get to talk about comic books and movies and superheroes. And the context for the whole show is that Stuart's got into collecting several years ago and didn't know much about it and kept taking me to lunch to find out, ask questions about who is this Jack Kirby guy and
Who's Captain Carrot?
Yeah, who's Captain Carrot and why are there 17 Spider-Men and questions like that. And so we realized that it was pretty good content. Like I'd been collecting for a long time, and Stuart wanted to know the scoop. And so I was able to share with him, and a comic book education podcast was born. We've got a whole lot of episodes. You can check us out on iTunes. We're also on Pinterest. We've got a website that's updated periodically, right?
It's updated every time we do a podcast.
Every time we do a podcast.
We got to change that.
We need some more articles and things. We've got a great network of other fans and friends that pop in from time to time and would love to hear from you. So hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Jeremy Mace, and Stuart is at Stu Stinser.
And you'll see it on the bottom right here, theoretically.
Yeah, like there's some bottom third showing up magically. Today, we are talking about what is on the screen if you're watching on YouTube or checking out the video portion. Secret Wars, the epic tale brought to you by Jonathan Hickman and Esad Ribic. It is 6 years in the making, or longer, maybe. I don't know. Long freaking time on this one. And I'm not just talking about like how long it took Esad to draw this. I'm talking about how long it took Jonathan to build to the ultimate climax, and this is kind of the culmination of his run. It's something that finished up earlier this month, and we've both been reading, following. Obviously, I'm a huge Jonathan Hickman fan. We talked about it a lot on the podcast. You like a lot of his stuff, but are on the fence with some of it. So you wanted an opportunity to kind of talk through the highlights of the series, kind of what we saw, what I liked, what I thought was important, also finding out kind of what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy. And then you've got a really cool article from IGN, which we love to check out on a regular basis. They kind of cover the big highlights and questions and things that it brings up. So we'd like to go through that too. And let's dive in. It's time for Secret Warriors, and we would like to sound the spoiler alert, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We're going to talk about exactly what happens and even maybe leaf through a couple of key pages here. So definitely check out the video if you're just listening to the podcast, because we're going to be referencing a visual medium, people. So why not check it out?
What were your expectations going in? Super high?
Pretty massive. Pretty massive. Yeah, I like I said earlier, I've been following Hickman's run on absolutely everything he's done. I was reading him before he started at Marvel, and then when he dove in, and love his Fantastic Four work, and even more than the Avengers work. And so this was gonna be tying everything together, and man, there was a lot that needed to be tied together.
Oh man, he's
like he makes J.J. Abrams look like a guy who finished what he starts. Yeah. Lots of dangling plot lines and opportunities and characters that aren't explored and worlds that aren't explored, and just
there must be hundreds
stuff.
of characters in this.
Through his whole run, or even
just in Secret Wars.
Yeah, and you could have gone so many different directions. Definitely could have. I want to talk about, let's talk about the covers, because this is what we enter into, and who is painting these masterpieces, Stuart?
This new guy on the
comic scene?
Mr. Alex Ross.
Wow.
Yeah, these covers are unstoppable. I mean, they usually are in general that he does, but yeah.
What's an interesting point about these covers that in relation to the series?
I'm not sure. What do you mean?
Well, that is exactly what you should answer, because that's exactly what I mean. I don't know when this event that is depicted on the cover happens. And most of the covers are depicting Secret Wars concepts, not necessarily panels or events that happen in the series, and that's okay. But there are characters here that don't even show up in the book, and I was kind of hoping that they would a little bit.
I think in general, I've actually written an article about that.
Oh,
I think
have you?
Yeah, I really have.
Wow.
In general, that really bothers me
Okay.
because I think it's a bait and switch thing.
Yeah.
But then even my friend Scott Snyder has done that a few times with his
With some
cover.
Batmans.
But here it's okay for me because Alex Ross.
Okay.
Just,
He gets a pass on whatever he
'cause
wants to do.
It's just a pleasure just to look at all this stuff.
I felt like that was a little bit like on Batman R.I.P. when Alex Ross was doing covers. Is it maybe because his covers take so long to do that he's got to start them like a year in advance?
I would think so. And he does a lot of series.
He does.
In general covers.
He's done a lot of Marvel stuff lately. But
Astro
these are some
City.
of his. This is some of his better work. I think
yeah.
It's really great.
Oh, yeah.
Like Machine Man. Like there's multiple Machine Mans in here.
Who's that?
Machine Man.
That's Machine Man?
Yeah, he's a great character. Jack Kirby created him. He's like an android. He's super cool. And then there's Miles right there, front and center. The
Who
thing.
you're a huge fan of?
Not really. Okay, so let me tell you what I loved about issue 1. All right, I love the fact that it immediately started with where we left off from the Avengers and the New Avengers titles, and so getting to see Doom and Molecule Man and Doctor Strange and how they faced the Beyonders at the end of that series and the complete end of the Marvel universe. This was a good kind of reminder. I also
Let me
go ahead
back just a little bit.
Yeah.
Go back to the other panel.
We're still on page 1.
This is what I love. How it's colored here. This is classic. Like if you've read Thor or other works by Esad Ribic, this is what the colors look like, and this is what I was hoping for.
It's almost
And
like
this is-
colored pencil in a way.
Yeah,
It's
this is
crazy.
like the one of the few where it's colored this way, and that was a big disappointment for me.
Well, that's interesting because I had that listed as one of the points I wanted to talk to you about. So rather than dive in, let's go over some of these overarching things like the covers we just talked about. Here is Esad's artwork, which none of us can debate whether or not his draftsmanship and like his style. I mean, he is a cinematic penciler. He is a cinematic artist. He evokes emotion from his characters. They all have a unique look to them. Your issue with this is not Esad's work, but maybe inking and coloring.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you would rather see this sketchy,
Yeah, I love
natural
how he
art
does
stuff,
this kind of thing with the shadows,
like
and,
filling in the blacks.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
To me, that it's I like it and deal with it. I also love the inks too, so I don't have a problem with this. And I like the combo, and I like going in and out a little bit, and whatever they thought the panel needed, and some of the scenes that happen later on in the book where we're in Molecule Man's little room below the world. In the white with the different shades of orange and purple and blue, all those kind of colors that they do. I love all that. So I like that. The Hickman design elements that show up, like these kind of title pages. Do you get irritated with these? Like it's a waste of a page? No. Okay, because I love them. I love the language, and I love like the cast pages
where
here.
it tells you,
who's going to be in it.
For me, I need that so I can reference who's the Cabal, who's this and that and stuff like that.
Right, and it does help somebody that doesn't come armed with over 30 years of comic book collecting experience to kind of remember. And really, Hickman's stories themselves are so complicated if you haven't been watching. And do you think there were people that picked this up that hadn't read the rest of the Hickman run, like just started off with Star Wars? Secret Wars?
If there was, I feel sorry for them because I don't see how they could.
Remotely follow.
Barely hung on, and I've read all of New Avengers and Avengers and Infinity, so I don't think this is entry level stuff at all.
I would agree, and thank God because I don't need entry level Secret Wars.
It's not going to help you sell comics to people that don't know what they're reading.
Yeah. What's interesting here is he did the inking. This person, is it Ive or Evie, did the coloring. Let's talk about the lettering. I love the fact that the Ultimates still have their lowercase lettering, and the regular Marvel Universe people have their uppercase lettering. And that obviously, Miles is the guy, and we get here. You get Ultimate Iron Man, who's talking in lowercase, and you get Captain Marvel and Spider-Man that are talking in uppercases.
I did not notice that.
What?
That's why we have this podcast.
That is why we have the podcast, man. Super important. Yeah, it's all the Ultimates are upper and lowercase, and it's supposed to give them more premier, prestige format when they do that. So I mean, Iron Man here's upper and lowercase, and there's Colossus. I was going to talk about this. This is one of my favorite little sequences here when Colossus throws the Hulk, the fastball special. I love it. I also love the Jonathan Hickman's run on the Ultimates, and he did not finish that run. He kind of handed it off 10 or 11 issues in to another writer who jumped on board and took it in a couple different directions, and I felt like it was really, like, I lasted one issue after Hickman left. I was like, well, this is not the same book at all, and Esad's gone, and I'm out of here. But it did involve Nick Fury, Hawkeye, Ultimate Iron Man, the evil Reed from the Ultimate Marvel Universe, and so all of them show up here, and then Hickman kills all of them.
Everything dies.
I love it. Kill them all. Let Hickman sort them out. Another thing that I really enjoyed in this issue was the concept of the Phoenix egg. Did you like that? Do you even know what the Phoenix egg is?
Yes, we talked about it in full disclosure yesterday. How dare you?
I love it. He's riding on a Sentinel, and he gets the Phoenix egg ready to hatch. Remember me? And so the Phoenix egg is something that is a carryover from X-Men versus Avengers, and then Cyclops becomes Phoenix for this.
Not your favorite Cyclops.
Not my favorite Cyclops. Yeah, not a fan of what they did here, but
it was Rocket Raccoon.
I love the way Hickman writes Guardians of the Galaxy. It feels like the movie.
Oh yeah,
it kind of looks like the movie, and he's got the big blaster thing from the movie like mounted on his chest, and Drax is great here. So yeah, all of this first issue really reminds me of the original series. Lots of battles, heroes, villains, crazy stuff going on, cut scenes between the different little intimate moments between the characters. You get a full scope of the entire Marvel universe. So this was, in my opinion, the throwback to the original, right?
Right.
Kind of like Star Wars Episode 7. Little setup. We're going to give you a lot of fan service because you need to be ready, because nothing's going to be the same after that. And that is kind of what happens at the end of this book. We're kind of jumping around here, and we got a lot of books to cover. At the end of issue 1, there's this great sequence where the two life rafts that have survived the extinction of the universe are separated, and it looks like one of them is completely destroyed. And in that is Sue Storm and the kids, and Reed is with some of the other heroes. And I love this face on Reed here, and his hand and the shield, and almost it pops off a couple of his fingertips. I mean, Reed's trying to reach out and save them, and he just can't do it. And then both of the Earths are destroyed. Everything is destroyed, and Doom is all that seems to be left. And I love this little epitaph here.
Yeah.
Punisher logo or something, or that. But then this is a great shot, which immediately lets you know Battle World is coming, because this is the same angle and ship from the original Secret Wars. That the when they originally launched in the old Secret Wars comics from the mid '80s, there were two main ships. There was the hero ship and the villain ship, and this is what the heroes appear in. So a little throwback.
It was
there.
lost on me.
Because
I think now
have you ever
appreciate it.
read
That's awesome.
the old one? See, that's a shame.
I've seen the cover.
The old ones are very very good. It's Mike Zeck, which we like. I really like, and you would appreciate it certainly after this because there's definitely a lot of throwbacks. So when we talked about my expectations, what were your expectations?
Confusion.
You expected to be confused.
Yes.
Okay.
A huge story. Just massive in scale. And yeah, I was wondering how he's going to wrap in 9 issues all of the stuff that had happened. Because his work's been going on for quite some time. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of questions that were lingering with the worlds colliding and all that stuff. So, I mean, I was expecting some epicness here.
Yeah, I think, I was feeling very comfortable towards the end of New Avengers and Avengers that I understood why the worlds were colliding, finally who was behind it, and it was Doom. It explained the Black Swan. It explained, Molecule Man and the fact that he was a bomb destroying the multiverse. So I had all of that. I was looking for resolutions more from the relationship side of things, like Thanos, Doom and Reed, Namor, T'Challa, some of the other like Doctor Strange and what he had gone through, and we got those, but we got them in a way that Hickman's able to wrap it up fairly quickly because he's basically gone to an alternate universe and can reset things at the end, which of course we knew was kind of happening.
That is a killer Odin.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
my goodness.
With the destroyer arm.
Yeah, I do love that.
Oh, it's great.
And then what's that guy's name again?
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray. That's right.
Yeah, and Storm Thor. She's awesome. That's the X-Men Storm. She plays.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she took the hammer up. She had her own hammer made. In a wonderful issue back in one of my favorite 2-part series. It was New Mutants Summer Spectacular and X-Men Annual number 9. Man, I'm guessing on number 9, 8 or 9. And they're both drawn by Art Adams. They are the X-Men and the New Mutants go to Asgard. Loki's messing with them, and Loki needs a new Thor, and he decides to make Storm. She has lightning powers. She can be the goddess of thunder, and so she becomes that, and it's all the X-Men running around in like cool Asgardian garb and having their own little adventures there.
That's pretty cool. I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, it's great, and especially the art is just awesome. It was one of, I think, Art Adams' best pieces, and some of Claremont's best work there. I love it. Yeah, lots of girl Thors. Thunderstrike. There's a Jim. This is 90s Thor guy, Junior Thor. Anyway, Egyptian Thor with the onk. And that is one great thing about Alex Ross covers. You can just look at him forever. I do like the opening sequence with the Thors. This style of storytelling reminds me of Hickman's other stuff like Red Mask for Mars and some of the ways he pulls off these almost like legendary fantasy style stories, and I would love to see Hickman do more of that, and not that didn't have to be superheroes. This sequence with the the Doom Church of Doom. I mean, this sets the tone for the series in my mind. An army of Thors bowing to Doom in the Church of Doom. This is some scary stuff. The FF are here. The Future Foundation are throughout this series with the kids. A lot of Hickman's old characters that he went through. And what I thought was interesting, based on the first issue, it reset my expectations. I thought we were going to get like Hickman's version of Captain Marvel and Hickman's version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we get a little bit of that, but he pretty much sticks with the characters that he's brought to the party.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, the FF, the Avengers, New Avengers, rather than trying to cram a bunch of other characters into the mix and focus on them. He sticks to what he has been building up. So you then knew, well, this is not a Marvel Universe book. This is a Hickman Hickman's Corner book and kind of how that's
Just
supposed to work.
ruined the whole podcast.
I just
man.
ruined the
Good
entire
grief.
podcast. So.
We were flowing so well.
Man, you know what? Sometimes you just have to answer your phone, right? So
guess.
sorry. You can cut it out if you want.
Not on
Or
YouTube.
click, don't cut it out on YouTube. That never happened. I love that upside down panel. I love the colors. The world's crazy. I also love the introduction of Castle Doom. When you actually get to see what this place is like with what you think is Yggdrasil or whatever the name of that or the world tree is from Asgard, and you've got the flaming, burning Galactus, and then you're down inside with all of these characters sitting in here. I mean, look, there's Moon Knight and Apocalypse, and who knows who all the rest of these people are? Well, they're just in the background, and then you got Strange and Captain Britain and Doom's little court. I love Sinister's good.
Sinister? Is it Sinister?
Yeah, this is Mr. Sinister here.
He had some weird stuff later on.
He always gets his head chopped off. It's pretty funny. It's a running joke.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a running joke. He's consciousness is in all parts of his body, and he's so.
Man.
You know what else I really liked in the first one was the return of the Cabal, and knowing that they were really going to be a big portion of this. Let me get to where they show up here. Oh man, I did love this Captain Britain shot where he is in the land of the zombies with Excalibur, and it's almost like a lightsaber version of it.
And you really like Captain Britain. You feel, right? He's a little underutilized.
He's underutilized, and some of his issues are really good, and I love the way Hickman's done him. Then, man, this one went on forever. I mean, we're at 42 issues, 42 pages, 44 pages, with Thanos showing back up. And, there's that shot of the Cabal. I just love the designs here. Maximus, these are newer characters to most of the Marvel Universe, only been introduced in the last couple of years. But, well, Terrax has been around for a long time.
He was
He's
in
a herald.
Avengers, the new Avengers.
Yep.
Mostly stuck in a jail cell.
Yeah, he's actually was a herald of Galactus and in lots of old Fantastic Four books. Yeah, the new ones are this guy here and his wife Proximo Midnight. What was his name? Glaive. Yep, and then Maximus, and then the Black Swan, and man, that Thanos, pretty great. I love the way he's done. Looks awesome. Thanos doesn't last very long. Lots of neck crushing in this series. Thanos is lifting people up. Doom is lifting people up. It's just a lot of people get killed. Worst part about Secret Wars, this map right here. It is feels like like they gave it to a beginning Photoshop class. At a university, and they, or high school maybe even, and somebody found that they could make everything a different color and add textures and drop shadows. It's just, it's awful.
You actually asked Jonathan Hickman about that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And when we got to see him last year, I was like, how did you let this happen? It was so sad. I should have complimented him, as I love him so much.
He said that
it was
wished that
offensive.
it was a different map. Apparently he's done a cooler map before.
Well, yeah, he in Secret Warriors and in Fantastic Four, he had the opportunity to do the design elements, and apparently he didn't have time, or they wanted it early on or something, and the Marvel bullpen of graphic designers, I guess, got a hold of this. But yeah, I mean, look at the difference. That's Jonathan Hickman's design aesthetic, and this is what we get from them.
It does look bad.
Yeah, it looks really bad. Again, oh my gosh, great cover. Covers are so good. So issue 3 rolls around, and Doom and Susan, lots of insights and dialogue. There is the reunion of Reed, T'Challa, and Steven in this issue, where they're kind of like figuring out, hey, maybe we can take Doom out, and trying to think through, and you're seeing maybe a plan start to evolve. Star-Lord is featured in this issue number 3. His dialogue is great. Again, I love the way Hickman writes him. And then everybody hates Cyclops. He's just...
I don't. I guess I haven't read enough about him, but I can
I don't
understand
like
if you have
it.
the
I mean,
history
he's
that
like-
you do.
It's like anytime Cyclops shows up,
It's a cool design.
then you mean the Phoenix Egg Cyclops?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. There he is. Cyclops, you've become the Phoenix. And he's like, yes, I have. And then they're like, okay, let's move on. And he's like standing in a corner, like, he's in the universe, and we really don't care about what he has to say. So it is a cool design. I'll give you that. But Strange and Reed and these faces and the emotion that's going on, it trumps the Phoenix Egg. You know, we don't care. We need it. We need it to move on, and we need We need T'Challa to kill Namor, which doesn't happen. I guess it happened last few issues of New Avengers, but it doesn't happen in this book. I do love all the Thors coming down at Thanos. So issue 4, I like to call the Boar Thor issue because, well, I mean, Boar Thor is in this issue. I mean, how does that even work? I mean, he's a boar. Do you know how that works?
No, I don't.
I mean, where's the shot? There's some shot of Boar Thor going at it. More Phoenix Egg. There it is.
Good
And he's
Lord.
not even like furry. It's just like boar-headed Thor.
Well, it's like a Egyptian.
Am I missing? Is this in Jason Aaron's run on
No,
Thor?
no.
No? So this is like Hickman pulled out of his butt or something?
I don't think
know.
it's bad because it's like, those Egyptian goddesses and gods are, had male or female bodies and heads of strange things. But a boar is not the good choice there.
Yeah. I love watching
He does such a good job with like epic shots. Just in general.
Esad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the standoff shots and the posing. That's what I meant. It's just he's very cinematic.
And it turns out he was the reason why this book was delayed.
Yeah, we knew that.
I didn't.
You didn't realize that? Oh man, Hickman had everything done. Esad just slow. I mean, it's magic.
Well, they had like a 1 or 2 page comic thing that they put out, and it was like
Secret Wars
Hickman-
TOO. Yeah.
Hickman was like, you don't really even have an ending, do you? And all this other stuff.
I think all that was a little misdirection and allowing Hickman to take the brunt of the stuff. We all know that Esad's such a pleasant fellow.
Oh, I love him. He is so talkative. Man, just oozing personality.
Feel the sarcasm in the room here. So, more neck snapping. Here we go. Like Doom's picking up another neck here. Common theme. Oh, crack. He's dead. And then this great shot. Doom eliminates Doctor Strange from existence in kind of this weird internal explosive stuff.
Was not expecting that.
Yeah.
And
Pretty impactful. I liked it.
That's the beginning of the end, really, for Doom.
For
right
Doom.
here. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's all bad when Reed shows up. I mean, that's really what happens.
Yeah. And if you didn't know, of course, Steven was working. He was like
The sheriff of
yeah.
Agamotto and
Yeah.
was kind of Doom's consigliere, if you
Yeah.
look at it kind of
God
from the Godfather Doom. Who's the Stephen Strange is the Tom Hagen of the Secret Wars universe.
Why am I out?
Issue 5, I love the statue garden here with the statues of Molecule Man and Stephen Strange and all the people that Doom's had to kill to step over to be God. Yet he kind of wants to go. Is he gloating over them, or is he, idolizing them?
He's giving the people what they want, I think.
Giving the people what they want.
Yeah, because they
Man,
don't
and
know.
Doom's never had to do that. Dude, I feel
Yeah.
like the burden of being God in this world would stink because you're really not omnipotent. You kind of are like barely holding things together.
It's a win-win for him. He killed him, but it is perceived as though he's, giving him respect.
Yeah, I love it, and I love the dialogue between Valerie and Doom. She's really great. We get to go into Owen's world, Molecule Man, and see a lot of that in this issue. There's flashbacks to the creation of Battle World. This is kind of what happened after the Beyonders were destroyed, and told kind of in flashback form with, and this really lays out the full concept of kind of the mechanics of how we got here and a little bit of a hint into maybe how we're going to get out of it. And I love the fact that, Doom stared into the abyss and was so eager that he is able to jump on, take over. Is great. This panel here is captioned the Department of Science, and it's where the Future Foundation is. And this building, again, is a direct replica of one that's in the original Secret Wars series. When Magneto needs to go find his own base, he finds this base, and there's lots of battles that happen around this base here. So again, immediately a throwback to all of us older readers that are able to catch these kind of things. Man, and then this is so rewarding. This panel, I mean, for a Hickman fan, this is Valerie, Bentley, and Alex that are from the Future Foundation, and that you realize that Dragon Man, Nostradamus, and Tesla are a part of the Future Foundation, and those are all characters from, or Dragon Man is not, but Tesla and Nostradamus are used in Hickman's other series that was called S.H.I.E.L.D., started almost 6 or 7 years ago, that was kind of the creation and an alternate telling of the genesis of Marvel Universe. And
Nice.
man,
Never finished it, right?
never done. And hopefully,
That was the question I wanted you to ask him, but I couldn't.
why
remember
haven't
the
you
name of it.
finished it? He's answered. I mean, it was just basically they told me to work on other stuff, and Weaver was doing other things. And by the way, a great spinoff of Secret Wars was Dustin Weaver's Infinity Gauntlet series, and it was multiple reality Thanoses trying to track down the Infinity Gauntlet and the new Nova Corps in one of the Battle World sections. And I love that. It's almost like a kind of fun Spy Kids family version meets Guardians of the Galaxy. Great.
And
great stuff.
if y'all didn't know, Secret Wars, while this was going on, they had, like you said, all these other
my
worlds
gosh,
going on.
everything
So you
was
had Old
taken
Man
care of.
Logan.
Zombies.
You had like a continuing of all the classic stories, like Civil War,
Yeah.
Planet Hulk.
Age of M.
Yeah, so I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
be
a
able
neat
to
idea.
revisit them.
And again, lots of fan service. We then move on to Secret Wars 6, kind of wanting things to get going here, and they actually finally do. This is a wonderful cover of zombies fighting Thanos. I mean, come on, how do you get better than that? It's really, really difficult. Things are getting bad for Doom. Things kind of starting to fall apart here. I do love in this issue, there are some nice parallel constructed pages here. Like you've got Reed and from one universe and Reed from the other universe trying to figure out a plan. And then we move into Spider-Man from one universe and Spider-Man from another universe helping to operate the plan. Then you've got the hamburger delivery to Molecule Man by Spider-Man. I do really enjoy towards the end. Is this another neck snapping moment? No, just punching cracking moment. Namor and T'Challa, which are two sides of the same coin, and what they do together. So definitely Hickman said this issue, I'm pairing people off, following them through the storyline. The fact that they are going to a place called the Hidden Isle of Agamotto, which is Doctor Strange's emblem and world taking a physical island sanctuary that Doom maybe didn't even know about. You have to travel through a living squid. They're emerging from the mouth of the squid and find this recording of Doctor Strange basically telling them there's a way you can possibly do this, and I've got something for whoever showed up here. Oh yeah, it's the Infinity Gauntlet. And Black Panther pulls this out and puts it on. I love Namor's line here. Don't look at me. We both know I can't be trusted. And so Namor's kind of a defeated guy here. He knows he's got to help out and kind of redeem himself. And
Well, he was working with the Cabal.
oh yeah, he's working with them. He's half of the problem.
Yeah.
The giant thing is pretty massive here. What do you think about that?
I thought it didn't really go too many places. It looked amazing. That looks stunning. I was just hoping for a little more from it.
Well, yeah, because it pretty much is over with in two issues. Well, it looked really cool. I was hoping for a lot more too.
Yeah.
Like, wow, the Thing. He's going to be really ticked off that Doom's done all this. Secret Wars 7 is an cover is an homage to Crisis on Infinite Earths. And the position that Doom has in the book as being a giant godlike figure is what the Anti-Monitor has. So this is wonderful to me because it's Alex Ross basically saying, I love multi-universe events and I'm going to do a throwback to the great DC one. So Crisis on Infinite Earths.
See, this is why we do this.
Is it because you would not have caught that?
Caught that, no.
Well, there you go. And man, again, another crap ton of characters that never show up in this series on this cover.
This guy.
Yeah, that's
Captain
Fred Himbeck.
F.
Fred Himbeck. Flatbush, I think, is that character's
That looks
name.
a horrible design.
Oh man, he's awesome. He's from the 70s. Man, Archon is here. Captain America from the Night episode, the Morgan Le Fay issues.
This looks like the TV show.
TV show Hulk. Lou Ferrigno Hulk. Yeah. Juggernaut. Green. Iron Man. Where is this Spider Woman is from Earth X. This guy's from Earth X. Ghost Rider driving on Doctor Doom's bicep right there. Again, you can just look at these things for freaking ever.
Yeah.
This issue is nothing but a battles and carnage, and if you've been wanting to see combat and Esau draw it, this is the issue to pick up. And man, it's amazing. Maximus is there, and he's leading the war against Doom. Doom's generals are here. This thing just goes on, and combat happens, and again, Mr. Sinister gets his head chopped off and can still talk, which is great. I love it.
See, like for me not knowing, I thought that was incredibly insane.
It's insane, but it's
I mean, funny.
All fan service. The Thors are fighting amongst themselves. This is Ultimate Thor, which is again what Hickman wrote in Ultimate. So getting him kind of featured predominantly in a few panels is wonderful.
Oh, that was great, doesn't it?
Holy cow! This shot here is the helicarrier, Mad Max style, led by Maestro, who is the future Hulk with his army of Hulks that are just yelling smash. I almost heard this in my mind like the pelican or the seagulls from Finding Nemo. You know, mine, smash, 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 smash. They're slamming down.
This is when like a new things really were about to happen. I mean,
it's just, it reminds me of like in Serenity when they nail the bodies on front of the ship, and it's like an abomination of what they love. This is like taking the beloved helicarrier, filling it with Hulks, and putting a giant mastodon skull on the front of it. It's like, how do you come up with this? Really wonderful. You do find out towards the end of this issue that Black Panther kind of has a plan, and he shows up with the all of the dead to fight Doom.
yeah. I mean, you have 3 massive armies. You got the Thors, the Hulks, and that as well. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's just all coming down, but it really all of a distraction. Like none of it has that much bearing on the story. It's just to allow us to see.
Is it similar to Lost in that like a lot of things have nothing to do with anything? It's the relationships that matter?
that definitely is the case. I mean, it's we want to see all of this, but we really want to know if Reed is gonna get Susan back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I love about it. It's really about them and Reed and his family, and Reed's needing to fix stuff, and that's really what it boils down to. The issue 8 is again more battles. Giant Thing shows up, breaks everything, fights Galactus, that is run by his nephew, powered by his uncle. No, the son is Johnny Storm. Yeah, it's crazy. This is a crazy world. more Reeds, more Star-Lord, Thanos riding on an annihilation horde. Wow.
Wow, that was
Just the drawing here is stellar. And you like this stuff here with
Yeah.
Hickman, East Side doing the sketchy stuff rather than this cleaner look, right?
yes, definitely.
I do love the introduction of Groot being the actual tree of life, not being Yggdrasil, and him showing up and destroying Doom Castle. Franklin realizing there might be trouble. You are, Reed knows that he's got to go find Molecule Man. He's got to go take care of this stuff. The other Reeds kind of involved there and got a plan. And we've got another great neck crushing
Oh, my
scene
goodness.
here. Is this the panel of the series, maybe?
I loved that.
So describing for the podcast, this is God Doom ripping the spine and skeleton out of Thanos because he's just had enough.
That's like a Wolverine level death there from Magneto. I mean, that's just awful.
It's so freaking cool.
Yeah, no question about if he made that one or not. I don't know how they're going to bring him back.
Well, easy. It's
Comics.
It's all comics. I do love this shot. At the very end of this is Panther through the Siege Perilous with Namor and an army of undead. It's almost like Aragorn coming out of the pass. What I can't even think of the name of that pass, but the armies of the dead flowing around him, and he's there for vengeance. It's the king has returned. Both of the kings.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
great.
it's a great setup. I just thought the execution later on doesn't quite fit for me.
You didn't like this. What happens in 9, at least from that standpoint.
Yeah.
This is the latest issue.
No talking. Just take him out. Just say the word. You have the Infinity Gauntlet, and I understand stories and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
but
I
you can
don't
fix
think it's. I don't think it's that easy. I think that he's trying to use the Infinity Gauntlet throughout this whole thing, and Doom is countering, and so Doom has the essence of the universe inside of him, and is able to, in some ways, control the Infinity Gauntlet, because the Infinity Gauntlet doesn't trump Doom's omnipotent power.
Okay.
He's not omniscient. He's just omnipotent. So you've got an omnipotent weapon fighting against an omnipotent hero. What happens? Well, you have to visualize it some way. I guess they could have had them stare at each other and point and had it be an internal battle of wills, but instead they have it basically this series of transformations, more like a wizard battle almost in some way.
I mean, it's a great battle. I was just logically was wondering.
You were wondering, yeah.
This is your panel.
This is my page. This is my favorite page, and it is Sue and Reed finally getting to talk here, and Reed knowing that more than anything he wants Sue, but to get Sue back, he's got to deal with Victor. And that shot at the end of this panel where he says, "I mean Victor, not God." It's like he's not God. He is just this man that I have faced so many times, and I'm done with him.
And you said you like this version because it's like an older,
grizzled.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Reed Richards could make his face look young, and he chooses to allow the age and the weight of the story to affect him. At least subconsciously, it's going there. This thing rages on with these weird abstract Panther versus
I didn't think it was weird.
God Doom. Well, I mean, I love the artwork. You're right. It's not weird. Interesting. How about that? The return of Reed. I love what he says. "My name's Reed Richards. I'm the one who fixes things." That's just sums up Reed.
It's on his business card.
I love abstract thoughts with Molecule Man. I love
That was weird.
Molecule Man transforming Reed into a monkey and then transforming him back, and slicing up the other Reed. I mean, he's just dead. It's a craziness inside this world. And then finally Doom realizes that this is all a distraction. He's got to go deal with Susan. He's got to go deal with Reed. And we get kind of the final climactic battle is Reed versus Doom.
Which is how it should be, right?
Man. It really should be. And in the original There's a little bit of Reed versus Doom in the original Secret Wars, but it kind of at the end boils down to Doom versus the essence of the Beyonder and Captain America, and them kind of fighting it out there at the end. And this is much more rewarding. I again love the dialogue here. Reed having enough and using his powers almost like tentacles to try to rip Doom apart, and Doom trying to justify what he's done, and it kind of builds to this panel, this page that is the checkerboard page is, I guess, the best way to call this. And this is a masterpiece right here.
I would agree.
The combination of Doom and Reed's face forming this checkerboard pattern with the dialogue. And then building up to Doom talking himself into the real issue, which is Doom hates Reed because Reed thinks that he can do a better job, and that Reed thinks that he's a better man than Doom, and Reed thinks he's a moral man. And then Reed says, "Yeah, I do," and you know it. And when Doom admits that Reed is a better man and is as deserving of the power as he is, Molecule Man shifts the dynamics and gives Reed control, and that destroys everything. And as reality is being destroyed, T'Challa, who was at the beginning of New Avengers, resets reality with the Reality Stone. And we are then brought back into the beginning of New Avengers 1, where we walk through several panels that are exact recreations of that first issue, except when the incursion world showed up, the second Earth that started this whole mess. Instead of that happening, it's a much more redeeming story here.
It's
where
like the end of the last X-Men, where everything
gets reset. It is. It's very similar to that, and I love the little Wakanda kids that don't get killed this time, and the rockets shooting off, and Wakanda's a great Earth again. And now we have the Marvel Universe, the Prime Earth. That's what we're going to call it. So there are other Earths, and we'll find out kind of why. But Miles Morales? Miles Morales. Miles Morales is talking to Molecule Man, who says he owes him a favor, and apparently why he was placed maybe in this universe. So I'm thinking like Molecule Man lets Franklin and Reed rebuild all of the worlds, but Molecule Man's like, Miles, you need to get stuck over here instead of going in another Earth.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, you really liked this.
Yeah,
I'm not a big Miles fan, but this is good.
I'd love to just see the pencils on that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I bet the original of that is insane, and it's the panel of both of the Spider-Men swinging into the city.
Yeah,
and that does set a new tone. It's like there's going to be two Spider-Men now, for better or for worse. That's what we're getting. I love the recap. It's my favorite characters. It's the Fantastic Four and the FF here, and they're all getting to talk and share. And Franklin is shaping universes, and Reed is hurling them into reality, and pieces of Molecule Man are going there to serve the universes, and certainly things could break again if we want to ever do this again. We can, but it allows the Fantastic Four to be explorers and to go out into these universes and really kind of set the fact that they know what's going on in each of them, or at least the beginnings of them. I like the fact that Franklin asks if they're superheroes anymore, and Reed says we're just going to be scientists for a little bit now and go explore. And Ben and Johnny aren't with us, and they don't need to be around right now. We have the life raft. And
Johnny's like the sun or something, isn't it?
He's back, though. I mean, he's restored on Earth Prime. He's with the Inhumans. And
that was very strange.
Well, he's with the Inhumans, and Thing is with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and maybe they'll leave them apart for a while, and then we can actually get some of the feeling of this book in a Fantastic Four movie in the Marvel Universe.
0 for 3. There's no... Oh, in the Marvel, if it comes back. Okay.
Cinematic universe.
Fair.
It ends, guys, with Doctor Doom pulling off his mask and him being restored, which is it restored Doom? Is Doom restored? Is Doom still evil? I don't know. It's up for grabs.
I think the facial things, I think
he's laughing.
It looks like a Sinister, though. Like a Sinister laugh, so... No, I don't think he's...
I don't think he's good.
No, just physically, maybe. Which is... I liked how they showed his original face.
Oh, yeah, he looked like the leper from Braveheart.
That's a good pull there. Wow. Here, right here.
Yeah, there you
That was
go.
awesome.
Braveheart, I brought it in. My job, right?
So in general, this nailed your expectations, or it was exceeded, or is it about what you thought? Or?
I am a big... I loved this and thought it was wonderful, and yes, it brought me where I needed to be. So yeah, it met my expectations.
And it was a conclusion to several stories. So, Fantastic Four conclusion. It was the conclusions for Avengers and New Avengers. Infinity, they just kind of ignored that one.
It didn't ignore it. It had the Cabal. It didn't have Thane. You're right. Thane was not brought into it.
Yeah, that's what we had talked about. Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. I just thought, again, with a lot of Hickman's work, it was confusing. Mm-hmm. And if you ask Jonathan Hickman, he doesn't care if you feel it's confusing.
He's writing the stories he wants to read and the types of stories he wants, which do not... There's a lot of fan service, but he does not dumb down to the common denominator of, entry-level comic stuff, which is going to isolate him. And I think it will prevent him from ever being he is one of the biggest writers in comics, but I don't think he'll reach the level that some of these other people have done where, like Scott Snyder, with Batman, you can become a new Batman fan based on Scott Snyder's work. You're not going to become a fan of Captain America through Hickman's work. You need to be a fan already.
Secret Warriors is a little different, though. I mean,
Secret Warriors is a little different, but you still got to be a Nick Fury's camp before that one happens.
That's true.
Maybe with his FF run, you could start there. I think if you started and read everything Hickman's done, it does build on itself and get more and more complex. So, I don't know. This was a super rewarding. Took a long time to get here. That's part of mine is that this needed to be wrapped up August of last year, and it was elongated. We started seeing the outcome before it was done. Yeah, that was distracting.
We're reading issues with Doctor Strange in it, and you're like, well, you just died. Well, I guess they restored everything.
Yeah, so, I am picking up some different stuff now based on the outcome of this. So
what are you getting?
I'm reading the X-Men again, and I'm reading Inhumans, and I'm not reading any Avengers titles whatsoever. I'm entrenched in Hawkeye. Lots of that stuff.
I've got this Hawkeye, as I've said it a million times. I need to start.
You gotta read them.
There's only like 2 issues, so
it's easy to catch up on. What you had an article? We don't have enough time.
No, we don't have enough time.
What was the big thing out of it that you wanted to bring up?
It was just top 15 moments of Hickman's.
I went through my top 15 moments. Oh, the whole Hickman run?
All of Hickman's run.
Wow.
I guess I can just say maybe the top 3.
Yeah, hit the top 3 here. Give them to me.
Was when Doom shows his face. I don't know if that's a top 3, but
it was a real face here
with the nose. The second one, I agree, and I put this one on Pinterest from my own. Is when Thor defies the builders. He throws the hammer, and it goes around the whole Earth, and then goes through him.
In Infinity, this is in Infinity. That was awesome. One of my favorite moments is Hyperion and Thor taking on all of the Beyonders at the edge of the universe, knowing that they will never return.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's on this list too. Number one was the Everything Lives, just how it ties in together.
Oh,
because
at
the
the
whole
end
time
here,
you hear it, everything dies,
dies.
and then finally at the end, everything lives. But I think for me, for the whole Hickman run that I read, was definitely what they did with Captain America. I mean, the fact that they wiped his mind, and these were good people that agreed to it, and then they didn't address it for like a year, and then finally came around to it. But that was one that really stuck out to me.
Well, and that culminated in that last issue of Avengers. It was not any kind of an important role here in Secret Wars, but it was the climax.
There's also
them fighting at the end of time.
There's also that one where they pulled out from Doctor Strange's head some like being that was in there and just ripped it out. It's like, oh my goodness,
Man, you make me want to go back and read all that again. It's so good. Yeah. There's some crazy stuff. I mean, yeah, like Doctor Strange's deal with basically the dark forces of the universe. There's some bad decisions made. The Illuminati, not a good group to hang out with.
And then when Cap finally found out, he acted like I thought he would. That was good. It's just like it just took a long time, and I thought they were ignoring
it. Defined the next year of stories. Is what happened there.
Oh yeah.
I loved some of that Hawkeye meeting young Hawkeye, old Hawkeye,
I forgot about
future
that.
Hawkeye meeting young Hawkeye.
I had forgotten about that. That old Hawkeye was he was
crusty.
Yes, he'd seen some things.
We're getting old Hawkeye again in the new Hawkeye series that's coming out.
It's
so
it's not the other Hawkeye that I like.
What's the next big event for Marvel? Is it Civil War 2?
I'm not quite sure. It probably is.
I
know the one for DC. I don't know the one for
DC's going to be called Rebirth, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's just a start everything over at number 1 again.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah. Why would we not?
Is numbering important to you?
Not to me at all, but it is important to a lot of collectors, and it is certainly important to the bottom line of the companies, which means I am for it because I want them to sell more and more comics so they can keep making more and more comics. So you want to reset and have issues 1 through 10, and you want to reset after number 10 to number 1 all the time, go for it.
I mean, so like, I don't know, Spider-Man number 790. You don't appreciate that number? You'd rather
the number means nothing to me because
or heritage.
No, to me, it's much more about the arcs of the writers that are putting it together. So I don't care how you number it. You got 50 issues of John Byrne Fantastic Four. Those are the 50 issues. The number doesn't. You can do whatever you want with the number. Some people love that legacy component of that, but just because you've done 700 of something doesn't mean you've done 700 things well. So I would rather read the ones that you've done well, and
that's fair.
That's my opinion on that stuff.
Fair.
So restart them, start them up, sell more comics, use your gold foil hologram covers.
Now we're going down a slippery slope.
Do your sketch covers.
We're going into the 90s.
Down the rabbit hole. I would like to let everybody know we are going to be heading up to the Charlotte Minicon
yes.
tomorrow. I'm checking things out.
You can see us there.
You can see us there.
I mean,
show up. Yeah, if you're go on and check it out.
Yeah.
Lots of neat artists. Lots of people I haven't heard of. So I'm excited to kind of look at some new art. Nobody big that I've got to go get stuff signed by. Brian Stillfreeze is going to be there, and his Black Panther stuff that he's working on. The group with Hellcat, I think, is going to be there. Several others. Sanford Green that we love is a regional artist that is amazing. Done killer work on Shaft and Power Man and just some neat comics. And we're going to be able to buy some comics.
Yeah.
And I don't think my original art guy is going to be there, so I may have several hours free
Forgot about
to actually
that guy.
look at regular comics.
Yeah.
So Anthony, my original art guy.
I will not be spending as much as I did last time.
I will try to spend more in a concentrated time frame. No, it's going to be great. We're road tripping it up there. So here's my suggestions for the day. One, you need to read the original Secret Wars. It's just 12 issues. It's Mike Zeck. It's classic Marvel stuff. You need to read
I
it.
have it.
You then
do
what the
have
heck?
it. I don't know.
And then recommendation number 2 out there. If you haven't read this Secret Wars, please go get it. It's great. You may feel lost, and then that means you've got to buy about 200 more comic books to get caught
Or
up.
I'm sure there's something like a wiki or something that will help you out.
Good luck. Third, go to a comic book convention. They're awesome. You'll really enjoy
This is
them.
my first mini-con, so I'm interested to see how that's going to work.
It's really hard to get in there. It's like a real small door.
Don't
It's
tell
just
me this.
really
No, I
difficult.
only want to hear the good stuff.
Gotcha.
Very good.
So, from all of us to all of you guys out there, this is a comic book education. I am Jeremy.
My name is Stuart. Class dismissed.